Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So today's video, we're going to talk about the reparation problems and the problems that's going to bring here in this country. So guys, as many of you know, many states are forming a reparations committee for African Americans. Now I have to say, I'm not African American in the sense that my family came from the Caribbean and Puerto Rico. Right? So my mother's side, I'm Puerto Rican. My father's side, I'm West Indian. Right? So I don't really have a stake in this argument. You're opening up something, guys, that doesn't pertain to any living African American. Zero. Not one African American living today does this affect, or should it affect, or should they be rewarded for it, rather. Sorry. Now, a lot of people will argue, black folks and white folks will argue, that it was a contract made by the United States government for black people to receive 40 acres and a mule. They never received that 40 acres and a mule. Therefore, not receiving the 40 acres and a mule, a lot of people feel that the black community should get something. People say that, well, the Jewish population, they got reparations for the Holocaust. I'm like, all right, fair enough. But that wasn't the Jewish people, it was the Jewish community, if you will. Like the individual Jewish person didn't get reparations for the Holocaust. That's number one. Two, here in the United States, they're talking about individual reparations for individual African American families and or people. They haven't decided how they're going to split that up. We know that California started a committee. New York State just recently started a committee or a study to do on how and who deserves it and why and how they would split it up. That's what the studies and committees are for. So my bone to pick with all of this is that we, this current generation of humans, the African American people here in the United States, do not deserve it, period. This is not going to fix slavery. It's not going to fix hundreds of years of trauma. It just isn't. It can't. Giving money to people who don't deserve it, and then what? They get the money, they spend it, they're gonna ask for more. You know, again, it doesn't change what America did to black folks. It's not going to change that. And you're giving these people a false sense of love, trust. I don't know what it is, but it's not gonna fucking work. And a lot of people seem to think that this is going to work. And then there are other people that seem to think that, well, you know, it's our dues. No, it's not. That contract wasn't for us. Or rather, it wasn't for African Americans now. That contract was for African Americans of then. It was made in that time period for them. It never said anywhere in that contract for all African Americans, you know, past, present, and future. Never said that. That's a problem in itself. But currently, a lot of governors seem to think that this is going to fix the black community. It isn't. And there are black politicians that are telling these white politicians, the morons that they are, that this is going to fix the black community, or it could fix the black community, and it won't. Because the money's going to go to the individual person and or family, and where do you think that money's going to go? That money's going to disappear. That money's going to end up in bank accounts, and people are going to buy shit they don't need. They're going to buy cars. They're going to buy jewelry. Some people might do the right thing and invest it into the stock market, or put it into some kind of savings or some kind of fund that's going to yield them returns. But that's very, very few, far in between. Unfortunately, the African American population of today is not that responsible, and many of us, or many of them rather, are not that responsible. And then there are some that will be. But still, lends back to the argument of who deserves the money and why. So there is always going to be that argument of who deserves the money and why and how much. And the thing is, guys, here's the bigger problem that I think all the committees are asking. How much? How much is enough? Is it the equivalent of what 40 acres a mule would be worth? Is it more than that? Are they going to add bullshit to it, like trauma, patches, and disrespect? I mean, like, they try to add so much into it. And the crazy shit is, and a lot of states are not addressing it, but like California, for example, they're talking about reparations, but right now they can't hand any money out because they're in a deficit. If I'm not mistaken, they're over $1 billion deficit or something like that. So they can't afford it. But yet they're still carrying on with this as if they're going to pay it out. I don't know if they're doing this to make the black community feel better. I don't know if they're doing this because it's voting season and it's going to get the black votes, as Kathy Hochul, New York State governor, is doing. She's only doing it for the votes. She's not doing it because she cares or wants to give money. She's doing it because she needs the votes. And how do you get votes? You trick the idiots of the world in believing that you're going to do them a favor. And then they go, well, that Kathy Hochul, that's a wholesome white lady there. That white lady's going to give us some money. No, she's not. Because New York State can't even afford it. And New York State won't be able to afford the amount of money that's going to be totaled or tallied up to give out to African Americans here in New York State. So, like, clearly, me, I'm out on it because my lineage is not from here. It's from other parts of the world. But how many people are going to abuse this? Because that's the other problem with the abuse. How many people are going to get denied? And if somebody gets denied and somebody else gets it, that's going to create a strife right then and there. So there's so many questions, no answers. Now, these studies and committees are to find answers, but I doubt very much they're going to find a lot. And I doubt, I would put my fucking pension that they're not going to be able to pay out the money that they're going to come up, the amount of money they're going to come up with. Now, like I said before, I'll say it again, guys, this is not going to alleviate any tensions amongst the black race. This is actually going to cause more division amongst people, Americans, and this is going to cause division amongst the black community. Because there are, believe it or not, some black folks that stand where I stand about this whole reparations thing, and I think it's bullshit. And especially giving it to people who don't deserve it. That's my biggest stripe. Because none of the African Americans today went through slavery, experienced slavery. Some professors will argue, well, the decades or centuries of trauma passed down from slavery is what we should be getting reparations for. Bullshit. It's the worst argument in the world, and nonetheless, people are still making the argument so that they can get some of that money. Money is the great divide. It always has, guys. Since the beginning of man, money has been the great divide. And this is just going to divide Americans even more. This is going to divide the African American community even more. And then you're going to have other groups of people wanting their reparations too. You're going to have the Chinese Americans looking for it. You're going to have the Koreans looking for it, Puerto Ricans, Indians, the people that work at 7-Elevens, the dot heads. You're going to see those people looking for reparations. You're going to see fucking probably Russians looking for reparations. Taiwanese and Filipinos looking for reparations because of how they might have been treated in this country. This is, guys, a segue into bad shit. That's all I'm saying. And this is not looking good, and it's not panning out at all. So this is going to be a constant discussion. This is not going to be the last video on it. Again, I think a lot of the reparation studies and committees that are being created are just a ruse to get the black community or the idiots in the black community to be like, oh, those people really care about us, let's vote for them. Because how do you guarantee a vote? You start a committee or a study right before elections actually begin so that it carries over into your time, your next time in office, or guarantees you the votes to make it in the office to carry on with this reparations. Like I said, I think it's a stunt. They're doing this to, again, try to secure themselves for the next election and try to make it in the office next time. I can guarantee you, though, their next time in, about a year or two into their second term, whoever that is, they're going to turn around and go, well, you know what, guys, there's too much money. We can't pay out $1 trillion or whatever the money might be. I don't think it'll be $1 trillion, but again, how much is enough, right? What's the amount of money that you're going for to pay people off? And that enters into trillions. You can't pay that. No one can pay that. No state on its own can pay that. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Pepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.